Now, I don't want to assume everybody knows what kind of equipment you're likely to run into. Now, personally, not having worked in the food service industry or not handling a lot of commercial fire claims, I certainly didn't understand the different appliances before developing this presentation. Now, cooking equipment comes in all different shapes and sizes, and each piece presents its own varying levels of fire risk. At the top end of that kind of risk ladder is equipment like deep fryers, open flame ranges, or charbroilers. You've got a deep fryer here in the middle photo and a wok burner on the right, and these are prime higher risk appliances. And this equipment accounts for the majority of ignition events. Now, kind of in the middle of a risk pool is equipment like this one, these ovens, these griddles or rotisseries. The oven on the left here and that flat top griddle on the right have an elevated risk, especially in higher volume kitchens during those peak cooking periods. Now, appliances at the lower end of that risk spectrum are ones like warming equipment or other low temperature appliances. Now, while these proofing drawers and heating stations rarely cause fires, you still need to keep your eye on them and be sure to clean and maintain that equipment. And understanding these risk levels will help you identify potential sources and understand potential red flags if these aren't used correctly. So let's dig a little bit deeper here and highlight some of the few highest risk appliances. Now, deep fryers are often the primary culprit in a commercial kitchen fire, and more so than any other appliance. Now, many popular cooking oils ignite at 6 to 700 degrees Fahrenheit, while most of the fryers are designed to operate at around 350 to 375 degrees. Now, with how powerful some of these gas or electric powered commercial fryers are, that's a pretty narrow safety margin. And these appliances, they're complex and they require training and vigilance to operate safely. And without that training and proper maintenance, maybe regular cleaning, things like thermostat malfunctions, maybe over full oil levels, or failures to filter out that oil and food debris that can build up can lead to a possible fire. Now, one critical time window where we see fires occur is when fryers are left unattended, especially during those heating cycles or when temperature controls fail during high volume service. So, proper maintenance and vigilance are the crucial pieces to prevent deep fryer fires. Next up is commercial gas ranges with open flames. These can be multiple ignition sources going simultaneously. Now, kitchen conditions like grease splatter or proximity to combustible materials and the constant use throughout service make ranges a leading fire hazard. Now, some of these perils, they're pretty similar to our residential kitchen fires we talked about a couple months ago and the different perils on that range top fire. Now, some of the scenarios we see more regularly are situations like grease fires from unattended pans, the ignition of accumulated residue on that stove, or maybe flammable items that are left too close to those flames. And of course, the actual cooking, flare ups from that high temperature, high heat cooking. Now, I'm probably going to wear this out today, but vigilance and proper procedures, they're crucial to mitigate the risk that are posed by these open flame appliances. And these open flames, this is a great transition into our next appliance, and that is a charbroiler. Now, these operate at extremely high temperatures with direct flame contact. These grill your steaks, your burgers, and your chicken. So think of this like your outside personal barbecue, but now in a really, really powerful, really compact commercial version designed for indoor use. They require frequent cleaning to prevent grease ignition. Now, wood-fired ovens, or really any other solid fuel ovens, create unique challenges with ember and temperature control. These ovens require specialized suppression systems. Now, I'm up here in Connecticut with some of the best rated pizza in the country, and what most of those famous spots have in common are these wood-fired ovens to get that New Haven style crust just right. Now, salamander boilers have intense heating elements that are over the top in this scenario, making them prone to grease accumulation and flash fires. Now, this is an appliance used for high heat finishing, like browning or caramelizing or glazing of those food dishes. And you might see one of these in one of our case studies later on. Now, in our moderate risk category, we had ovens, and while they may not have open flames, they still occasionally show up in claims. Convection ovens, they do a great job of cooking with that even circulated heat, but grease buildup in those fan assemblies can ignite. So regular cleaning of the interior surfaces and the ventilation passageways is needed to kind of keep this risk at a minimum. Rotisserie cooking units suffer from some of the same dripping grease issues that our convection ovens had, but they also have the added meat and other food moisture that can accumulate in the catch pans and ignite from the heating elements if they're not properly emptied. Now, our last oven is a combination or a combi oven, and this uses high temperature steam and convection modes to cook the food. And this combo of moisture and grease that can build up, it needs to get maintenance, it needs to get clean, and that's a pretty common factor here when we take a look at a combi oven fire. So I hope this little background gives you a little bit more information about some of the cooking equipment you might see on your next commercial cooking claim.